So obviously the changes that we're seeing with the global economy, and here I'll just for a reminder for everybody here. So just a couple of things off to my, which way is it? It's over there. That's the main website, right? And then I did mention that we have our own economy and we're trying to work and transform the world economy for a better future. So what we're seeing in the global economy today is that large corporations, as a result of kind of this shock that I mentioned, are just instead of doing exactly what they should be doing, which is doubling down in a dip, right? They're actually locking up and freezing, and they're stopping spending. They're cutting innovation budgets. They're not investing in new product development. They're retreating into the comfort zone, whatever it is they know. And that's exactly the worst possible outcome for any company that wants to actually come out of this period of economic change as a winner. And so what we're doing to combat that is we're going in, well, first and foremost, we're economically enabling that entire community of people with their own means of exchange, a unit of account and store value. That's the EXO token. And then we're connecting them all through the platform that I mentioned, which I'm not going to do a platform demo, so that we can connect the people who are needing to adapt to that change to the people who are able and capable of coaching them and consulting with them and providing the necessary skills and resources to affect that change. And then we've also created the processes like sprints that are making it possible for those organizations to change quick. So while they're locking up, shutting down, and not spending, we are coming in and working with them to kind of unthaw that, to tackle that autoimmune response that they're having to the change that they're experiencing that actually is presenting them with immense amounts of opportunity. And the examples I gave are examples of companies that have tackled that head on and said, yeah, in the face of change, we're going to adapt, grow, and experiment and launch new products and services at scale. So again, the big change is that sort of reduction in investment, that reduction in spending, team growth. And it's just the exact wrong response. I mean, if you have the means and the resources, this is when you invest, not when everybody else has already made it out, right? So I think that would be part of the answer. Now, one of the interesting things is we're not just seeing it at the company level. We're seeing this because we've done a lot of work with cities, the city of Medellin, Colombia, the city of Miami. The Miami Bitcoin conference that just happened was on the tail of a project we did there called the Fast Track for Mobility in 2017. So that is a city who said, oh, everything's changing. We want to be the capital of that change. And so that fast track process that we ran with them helped break that down, change the mindset of the civic leaders, the business leaders, and connect them with the community that could affect change at the grassroots level, if you will. So I hope that answers your question, but it's unbelievable the amount of opportunity, and it's also unbelievable the improper response that we're sometimes seeing to that opportunity.
Yeah, we're seeing an interesting thing, I think, between you and Quest, that I would say both of you are working with governments of different countries as well as with corporations. And what we're seeing with Quest, the adoption, with one of the governments they're working with is not just, the land adoption, but also the salaries, the, payment structures. Are you seeing that happen within corporations? Are you seeing an expanded model of what you're doing? And or are you in discussions to have some expansion of the models that you originally created?
100%. What we're seeing is corporations finally recognizing that the great deal of the power to adapt, be agile, and improve, right, grow. They look at growth as improvement over time is going to come from adopting alternate organizational structures, not necessarily all the way through the organization if they're very big. And there's books like Reinventing Organization or Zero Marginal Cost Society or Platform Cooperatives. These are the types of processes that organizations are now taking seriously. And that's a big deal. And so when you look at a tool like Quest, and I was actually texting in the chat here, I was texting Michael saying, hey, Michael, I'd like to talk to you because we're working with cities and countries all over the world, and we have opportunities that could lead to a collaborative opportunity for their technology and our access through the OpenExO community. So you're spot on seeing that. And I
Thank
think
you. That is exactly, yeah, that's exactly what we're all on the same page. So we'd love to talk afterwards.
Totally. I mean, I saw it as I was going through. I was like trying to hit your webpage and go through and texting one of the folks on my team who I'm working with on an array of ecosystem services that OpenExO is shepherding. But the, you know, Mariana, I think that what's important is that companies are finally coming to see the need to adapt and learn these new technologies and not just view them as something adversarial or that's going to disrupt them. And I got it. They want to be the disruptors, not the disrupted, and they realize that they are absolutely being disrupted right under their noses. And we're seeing this manifest, for example, in people just quitting their jobs, saying, I'm out. I don't even know what I'm going to do next. Record numbers.
You know, I mean, I have so many questions for you guys. It's really interesting to look at these DAO organizational structures and the fact that, you know, you can have to work within existing organizational structures. How is that affecting your work, if at all?
Well, that's you get right down to it. So OpenExO is well on its way to becoming a DAO through its work in the ExO economy and the enablement of its community with its own native digital currency on a standalone public permissionless blockchain. That can happen completely aside from the fact that the very people in that economy acting primarily as a digital cooperative. I just wrote an article called it was like two of them, a peer-to-peer article and a DAO article on insight.openexo, which is one of our pubs. Point is that in that article, I was talking about how we'll be in service to those organizations, right? We'll apply what look like more traditional change techniques, but then what they will be doing is interacting with a whole new kind of entity, right? Which is a distributed autonomous organizations. But it won't matter to them. And that's the key, right? That's the user interface to these new things, is you have to make that feel safe and normal. And it has to be safe and normal, not just feel it. And then what will happen is, as they go through their transformation, they'll become a part of that very thing. And before you know it, they'll look at themselves and go, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Did we just become a DAO? Because we're doing that, you know, and that's the way this is going to happen. It's not going to be like somebody goes in a company and flips a switch and says, I'm a DAO now. It doesn't work that way. Very few companies. If you want case studies of such companies, they do exist, right? Again, reinventing organizations and hours to hack and own, everything to everyone. There's one other book that was right at the tip of my tongue, but if I think of it, I'll blurt it out. But yeah, I think you're coming right to the heart of it. So yes, we have to meet them where they are, but then we have to have tools, processes, technologies, and the people. It's all about the people that can help them make that change.